I'd like to introduce an add-on called Petik. This is a retopology add-on. First, let's see how it works. There's a skeleton here that will retopo. Press Shift-A, search for plane and add one. Hit Tab for edit mode, press X to delete all vertices. Now we have a polygon with 0 vertices. Next, hold Ctrl-Alt-Shift and press X to add vertices. But first, let's add a modifier. Search for Mirror modifier and enable clipping. Clipping merges vertices at the center, keeping them together. In this state, press Ctrl-Alt-Shift-X, but don't add yet. Click this button in the modifier panel. This shows the mirror even in edit mode. Now we're ready to add vertices. Press Ctrl-Alt-Shift-X again to start adding. Left click to add the first 4 vertices. Create the shape, then right click to finish. And there you have it, one patch created. Here at the end it's written 4, 4, 4, 4, but this stick in the middle is in the normal direction. This is what you can see, but imagine if you couldn't see anything like this. In this case, pressing H toggles it. It's H for hide. Pressing it switches the display like this. Looking closely now, the polygons are hard to see. So I want to make this more visible. First, to exit Petic mode, press Enter. Now it's in normal mode. In this state, there's a square icon here. This is Mesh Edit mode. Let's turn on this feature called retopology. I use this often, so I'll right-click it. It says remove from quick favorites now, but if it's not in quick favorites, it'll say add to quick favorites. Click that. Now you can quickly access it by pressing Q instead of a number. Now we can toggle retopology on and off here. When you turn it on, it becomes easier to see without clutter. If we rotate this, it's fine now, but with a large default number, you might see the backside, making it hard to work. So we'll enter a smaller value. But if the value is too small, it'll be hard to see from the front too. It becomes difficult to see like this. So we need to find just the right value. In this case, I think about 2 is just right. Now, since the center is overlapping, I'll scale it up. Press S for scale, X for X direction, then 0 to straighten it. Set X to 0 here in the item diagram to merge it in the center like this. This merge is a modifier, so you can toggle it on and off anytime. Now Alt plus A to deselect everything. We left Petik mode earlier, so press Alt plus Ctrl plus Shift plus X again to re-enter it. Earlier we created faces by left-clicking, but with existing polygons or vertices, right-click to select them. For example, right-click here too. Now you see 4 appear here. This means the span is 4. To create a face where there's nothing, left-click like this. Left-click here too. Right-click to close it. It'll look like this. There's rotation in the center, so you can move it like this. This is how you can create a litho, but notice this number. You can change this number. Move the mouse cursor near here, and the edge turns red. When the edge changes color, use the scroll wheel. Scroll up and down like this. You can change the span. For example, if the left is 6 and the right is 5, it creates a topology like this. To change this topology pattern, press A to see some options. To choose from the 5 options, press the space bar to confirm. I'll adjust the span numbers before deciding. Aligning both sides to 6 creates the best topology, so I'll do that. As I mentioned earlier, to exit Petik tool, press Enter. To create a new surface, press spacebar. Now we're in Petik mode, where you can create a new face. Now I'd like to create another mask. For example, right-click here, left-click where there's nothing, left-click again, and finally right-click to close. Now it's snapping to an odd spot, so let's adjust this vertex by lifting it up a bit like this. I'll fix this one similarly. Next, let's look at the right side. It seems there are too many vertices here, so let's reduce them. I'll move the cursor here and press the page down key. I've changed it to 2 now. In this state, press the space bar to confirm. Use Alt plus A to deselect all. This is how we can proceed with the retopology. Here too, right-click twice, left-click thrice, and finally right-click. This has too many vertices, so let's reduce them. I've reduced it using page down here as well. I'd like to keep this at about 3 vertices. Pressing A now shows various options like this. This side looks good, so I'll press A once more. This edge looks promising, so I'll press the space bar. This is how we can create the surface. When adding a surface, for instance, I'd like to try here. Left-click 4 times, then right-click to add the surface. Currently, the normal is facing the correct direction. However, sometimes it might face the opposite way. To fix this, view from the desired angle and press W. This adjusts the normal to face the intended direction. Now let's reduce this value. We'll decrease this too, setting it to 3. Next, press spacebar to apply the surface. Right click, left click, right click, like that. To undo, use Ctrl Z. For example, if you misclick, Ctrl Z can revert it. To cancel the patch, just press Z without Ctrl. After cancelling, you're still in edit mode. So you can apply faces by clicking again. Finally, right click. Now press this button to change the pattern. Reduce it and press the A button again. I'm not quite sure, but let's try pressing the spacebar like this. Then right click, left, right, and paste the domain. We can exit using the spacebar again. Actually, there are various shortcuts, but the Tools menu on the left isn't visible now, so I pressed Enter to exit Petic. In this state, pressing T hides the toolbar like this. I want to enter Petic again in this hidden state. Press Alt, Ctrl, Shift plus X to enter, and you'll see help appears with various shortcuts, but you don't need to memorize all these shortcuts. For example, let's paste the first one here. Left, right, then press S for smooth transition. But applying smooth takes you away from Hypre. So I pressed Shift plus S to paste it again. Let's press S once more to apply smooth. Now you can see we've moved away from Hypre. In this state, I just pressed the V button. V is a shortcut to snap to Hypre, but this might work with other tools too, so you can do it in Petic or other tools. For example, with tools like Mirror or PolyQuilt, I think it's fine to use those kinds of tools. Let's exit the spacebar and add one more face here. I added faces on the left and right. Now press Enter to exit Petic mode. You can also use regular Blender tools, so when retopologizing, it's good to combine different tools. There are gaps here, so I selected 2 vertices and pressed F. F is for fill, that's why we use it. Pressing F in this state lets you create faces like this. I want to make this triangular, so I selected 3 vertices and pressed F for fill. Then it's back to 2 vertex selection and we keep pressing F. Here we select 3 vertices, make a triangle with F, then 2 vertices again. You can fill in the model like this. Also, the PolyQuilt tool is amazing for retopology. I'd like to introduce it more if I get the chance. Let's try using PolyQuilt a bit. I pressed Shift plus space and selected the PolyQuilt tool. For example, if you want smoother topology here first, this is important. Shift plus tab is the shortcut, but it's crucial to keep snap turned on. Now we're in face mode, so select face snap here. Usually face project is easier to use, but for some reason PolyQuilt seems to use this face mode more. Now you have a choice. There are many ways to use this. I'll explain more next time if I get the chance. To draw smoothly, press Shift. This creates a circle instead of a deformed shape. To change the circle size, press and hold, then drag left or right. As you can see at the top, the left side is selected. This is the Smooth tool. Hold Shift to draw smoothly like this. Right now the border edge isn't moving. The border edge is locked. To smooth the border, draw from outside instead of inside. You can also apply textures. Press Shift plus space and select the PolyQuilt Quad Patch tool. Select an edge. Then drag to draw a line on this side. I've drawn a blue line like this. This applies the surface texture. Press F9 for history and adjust divisions like this. So I don't get too carried away, but I'm working on various details. To select the last part, call right drag. You can snap it again, but if it's too detailed, snapping might not work well. First, let's remove this snap and use the G button to bring it to the surface. In this state, turn the snap back on. It's Shift tab, right? Now press Q to create a snap point. That's how we snap it. Then press Shift on the PolyQuilt and smooth it out like this. If you hold Shift from outside the patch while smoothing, you can smooth the border too. We'll smooth it out like this. This PolyQuilt has many other uses. You can now download it from the extension platform. This is the Petik tool we mentioned earlier. It's on the Blender market, currently priced at about $16. Similar tools have come out which are a bit cheaper now. But when I bought Petic, those weren't available yet. I haven't tried the newer alternatives myself. Anyway, PolyQuilt is excellent for retopology, so using PolyQuilt, Petic and Blender's default tools makes retopology much easier, I think.